Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Molweni manene kazi. Today we're going to be talking about the big rematch coming up on Saturday at the Ford Center in Frisco, Texas, of all places, in the Lone Star State, where Elader Storm Alvarez, the WBO light heavyweight champion of the world, will be out to prove that his first victory over Sergey Crusher Kovalev, he stopped him by a dramatic 7th round TKO, was not just a storm in a teacup, pardon the pun. He is up against it, but this time it's a much different Kovalev. His aura of invincibility is gone, that intimidation factor that he had is gone. But we mustn't forget that Kovalev, not a long while ago, was on everybody's top 3 or 4 pound for pound fighters in the world, and he was somebody that nobody was rushing to fight. He won the WBO title back in 2013 by going over Nathan cleverly like a train going over an empty Coke can. Completely crushed him, made 8 defenses of that title. Among those 8 defenses, he added the WBA and IBF belts when he beat the legendary Bernard Hopkins. And all but 2 of his opponents in his 8 title defenses, only 2 of them managed to last the distance. All the rest got stopped, and the only ones who lasted the distance were, of course, the legend Bernard Hopkins, who barely made it out of a 12, and then we had our own Isaac Chilemba, who went 12, and everybody struggles to look good against Isaac. Isaac is a tough bloke, very awkward fighter. But then along came Andre Ward, the first fight, rather controversial decision. It went 114, 113 on all cards to Andre Ward. A lot of people thought Kovalev did enough to win, myself included. He knocked Ward down in the second round with a jab, no less. And in the rematch, Ward, they were very tit for tat, and then Ward nailed Kovalev with a right hand, and then hurt him badly with some body shots as well. And as he was reeling on the ropes, Ward drove in a few low blows, caused the referee to stop the fight and declare Ward a TKO victor. Now, I would have liked the referee to have given Kovalev a few minutes there to recover from the low blows. Not everyone will agree with me. I don't think it would have made a big difference anyhow, because Kovalev seemed to be falling apart at the seams in that fight. But nonetheless, those two losses had asterisks at the bottom attached to them. So then Kovalev came back. He regained his WBO title, made a successful title defense, going back to his old Russian coach, and along came Alvarez. And Alvarez upset the apple cart, and with this loss of Kovalev, there is no excuse, there's no ifs, there's no buts. Alvarez just kicked his ass. And now he will have to fight to stay relevant, and can he? That's a big question. Now, I think Sergey Kovalev has got, he's a wonderful offensive technician, he's a good boxer, puncher, and I think he does have a skill set to make the adjustments to win this fight. Whether he's got the mental fortitude or confidence in himself to do it is another story, because there's been these rumors that he's been burning the candle at both ends, in his own words. He's been pulling off too much weight too close to the fight, and had some stamina issues. And I've noticed that with him, he seems to have a little bit of a late fade in some of his fights. And another thing about Kovalev, he always gets caught with the same thing. Now, it went way back against Jean Pascal, caught him with an overhand right over that low left guard of his. And then Andre Ward did it again. And then also now Elader Alvarez did it to him. So you'll need to correct that. If you're going to carry the left hand here, then you've got to keep your right hand up here in that Philly shell to deflect what's coming in, or at least you've got to stay busy with your jab here. So that whole, his new trainer, Buddy McGirt, will have to find a way of gluing it shut if he's going to be victorious here. Because that's the obvious drawback that Kovalev has into this fight. That's a big flaw there. And can he have the stamina to sustain it? Basically, if he wants to win the rematch, he's got to fight the first fight with Alvarez without getting caught in that 7th round, and without losing his defense getting a bit leaky. That's something that he doesn't need. So for Kovalev to win, I think he's got to do what he always did, but he's got to close that gap where he gets hit with the right hand. Keep his guard up a little bit higher and stay busier with a jab. And what Kovalev does well is has very nice long distance shots to the body, and that can keep a guy off balance. So Kovalev needs to step to his right, away from Alvarez's right hand, keep his left hand a little higher and be busy with a jab and long shots to the body. And also what I've noted is when Kovalev throws a jab, especially when he throws it to the body, Alvarez likes to parry it, sort of slap it down here with his right hand. Might be a good idea for Kovalev to just feint with a jab to get that right hand of Alvarez down and then step in with a left hook. Alvarez, what does he have to do? He's got to guard against overconfidence, because he might not land that lightning in the bottle again. And Alvarez's biggest mistake is he's a fine boxer, but he lets his work rate fall away. So he makes fights very close. Like his fight, for instance, he also fought Isaac Chilemba. He makes a fight much closer than it needs to be. So Alvarez, stay on your toes, look for that right hand opening, stay a little bit busy over jab. He had some good success with it in the first fight. And I would also try and do the same thing that Kovalev, and I said Kovalev should do to him, go to the body, because Kovalev clearly does not like it in the body. Box him, use a jab, go in with some shots to the body, and don't give Kovalev a chance to get set with his big shots, and look for that right hand. And if an opening comes, great. If it doesn't, win the fight on points, be a little bit busier. So that's what I break down Sergey Kovalev against Eleider Alvarez, a rematch. My prediction, you know, statistically in boxing, the guy who wins by knockout the first time wins by knockout quicker the second time. Many examples right off the top of my head. We can think about Evander Holyfield against Dwight Muhammad Kabi. They went hammer and tongs at each other. Holyfield won a close decision. Rematch, different story. Holyfield just went and knocked him out. Frank Bruno against Mike Tyson was competitive, lost by 5 rounds knockout. Rematch, Tyson wiped him out in 3 rounds. There have been exceptions. For example, the most famous one was when Joe Louis, up and comer, was knocked out by Max Schmeling. Later, as champion, he crushed Schmeling in 1 round. I don't think Sergey Kovalev is quite the brown bomber. Yeah, I don't think he's got that mental makeup. I think he's maybe not as hungry anymore. Maybe he's one of those guys that needs to have a momentum behind him. And once he's down and losing, he struggles to pull it around. So I'm going to go for Eleider Alvarez. I think it will be competitive. I think it will be a good fight for as long as it rolls. But I think he might get Kovalev out of there this time, maybe around quicker, around about the 6th round. I like Eleider Alvarez to knock out Sergey Kovalev and firmly establish himself as the #1 light heavyweight in the world, a division that has a lot of exciting up-and-coming names. We have WBA champion Dmitry Bivol, IBF champion Artur Beterbiev, we have Alvarez, and then we also have Alexander Gvozdyk. So it's an exciting division. Alvarez could be part of it, or Sergey Kovalev could show that he is still relevant. That's why we watch the fights, and we'll find out on Saturday night. Until then, keep your hands up.